Today, I have an incredible person in the industry that I've grown to respect for over 25 years, just my knowing her in the industry. And she took time off her schedule to be here with her friend, Ron Magnus. Most people know who she is, Vicki Mack Lataillade. Welcome, Vicki Mack.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again, Humility, for providing this platform. And let me introduce to some and present to others my good friend, Vicki Mack Lataillade. We have known each other for about 25 years now. And I think I first met Vicki when she was working with Kirk Franklin, and he came to the GMWA and presented all of the board of directors with a replica of his platinum album, and I was completely floored. Vicki, I want you to know that I still have that platinum album hanging on my wall in my office.
Wow.
I mean, I treasure you so much for
thank you
for being a part of GMWA, and you were a staunch supporter of GMWA. I mean, Kirk Franklin, GMWA, and then you came and brought him with you, and he was signed to your record label at that time. And I think that was his first record label. And it's always been a pleasure. Welcome to this podcast of my national fame. God bless you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today, really.
Oh, it's my honor, without question.
Vicki, I like for you you've always been any topic I've seen people throw at you, you've been able to just really jump in there with so much insight. And I know that this cause here is dear to you. Can you share just any of your experiences with maybe people you've known in the past that have had some of the struggles right now that Ron is dealing with, and just give us some insight as to your perspective?
Well, yeah, it's interesting that you would say that because I myself suffer with kidney problems. In my family, we all have a propensity towards kidney stones, and they're always so large that they have to be surgically removed. So this is a subject that's very close to me. As I said, my father, who passed last year, had the kidney situation, and I sisters and even a daughter with it. So I can very much empathize and sympathize with it. And Ron, you probably didn't know that, did you?
And so you can really identify with just how the body works and how sometimes things can just go awry. Can you share with our viewers your relationship with Ron? I mean, he mentioned, how you guys met, but how did your relationship form and get closer?
Gosh, I think that we just became close, of course, first from meeting at GMWA, but I think probably more than anything that attracted me to Ron was his intellect, number one, and number two was his activism as a Black man. And I think those two things caused us to really mesh, and there was kind of a simpatico understanding there because of I just like listening to Ron talk and how he's up on all the issues, and I'm quite a news head and a person that, I come from the Bay Area. I come from Northern California, so we're kind of built that way anyway. And he was always stirring me in terms of activism and being ever present with from our history to gospel music. So I think that's why we're friends, Ron. Don't you think so, maybe?
I think so. You probably didn't know that I really got my start in law in the NAACP. I was a youth president of the NAACP Youth Council. My mentor at the time was Clara Luper. Anybody who knows he knows of Clara Luper because she led the first actual stand-ins at the drugstore in Oklahoma City in 1958.
Really?
That didn't actually get started in Charlotte until 1964, but she had already done it in 1958.
Oh, my goodness.
She was my history teacher in
Mhm.
high school, and she was just a joy to be around. I did so many different projects with her, and she was an incredible woman. She actually ran for the United States Senate in the state of Oklahoma.
Really?
She did, but she was our youth council sponsor for the NAACP for many, many years.
Wow. Well, my grandfather was a local president, and then we had Leonard Carter, who was regional. So in my family, you had to be a part of the NAACP very early. They'd have barbecues and all those kind of things to raise money. So yeah, that's probably why we have so much in common. Because I remember as a little girl, we had to get out and do things, and my parents marched and all that. So yeah, that's where we like each other, Ron.
One of the reasons that I wanted to just kind of bring that to light is to show just how involved and full of life Ron is. And,
Yes.
for those that are watching this and going, okay, how does this involve us? How can we help? I want you to understand that this man is still very much full of life, and we want Ron to
Yes.
get back to doing the things that we need him to do in
Yes.
society, but just he deserves the right to have a second leash on life, so to speak. And so today I just want to ask you, Vicki, if you could just speak to our audience, and what would you say to someone knowing that the way Ron, full of life, always intellectual, always up on what's the trends and what's going on
Yes.
in the political scene and other things to do with the law and civil rights. What would you say to someone that's sitting out there that's saying, hey, you know what? Um, I know I can live a healthy life with just one kidney. And this man, he's beloved. I've been watching all of the various podcasts and videos. I think right now I'm almost ready to make that decision. What would you say?
Well, I would say that this man deserves every single advantage he can have in life. And I would encourage you to go take the test. I'd like to encourage you to get out there and see if you're a match. It's very, very important. And I don't know, have you guys ever talked to Norman Hutchins?
Oh
No.
yeah, no, we haven't.
You need to talk to Norman Hutchins. Norman Hutchins needed a kidney transplant, and it turned out that his match was his wife. And
Wow.
so they both shared kidneys. I think it was last year or so. So I've seen this firsthand, and how much like we need our strong black men, y'all.
Yeah.
So if you can do anything to try to be a match, and I'd encourage you to really have Norman Hutchins on, who has been through this. His testimony is bar none. And he just moved back out to California from Delaware. And we need our strong black men. So I would like to encourage, we need our strong black everything. But please go out and see if you might be a match. And also, Ron, check with your family, because sometimes your match is closer than you think. I encourage you to talk to them, because it'll be such an encouragement for you. But look close, right in your family too.
I can joke with Vicky and Ron, because Ron he has really floored me with his amazing sense of humor. Just going through all of this, Ron keeps me just chuckling and laughing. And it's funny, even today I was like, well, I'm not going to be on screen today, Ron. I'm just going to come on.
Girl,
It's going to be
gorgeous as you
it's
are, I don't
it's
know why you not be on.
listen, I wasn't looking. Trust me. I was like, Ron, if I'm just may take the whole campaign awry if I show up looking like what I look.
Girl,
And then,
it's called Black Girl Magic. We got it. We can beat
thank
that
you.
face and do
Thank
something quick,
you.
and you look gorgeous.
Thank you. And I want to say to everybody, listen, again, this is an opportunity for you to give the gift of life. Ron, I'd like for you to, I know today is one of your dialysis days, and I know that we usually don't book anything on a Wednesday. So if you could share with our viewers, what is a dialysis day like for you?
Well, thank you. That's a great question. My dialysis treatment is for 3.5 hours. I'm just getting back from a dialysis treatment at my DaVita location clinic. And a dialysis treatment is very draining because for people that don't know, dialysis is where they have this machine, they plug it into you, and it constantly recycles your blood and takes the toxin that your kidney would suffice, but it takes the blood out, cleanses it, and puts it back. So you're in a constant recycle of coming out, cleaning, cleansing, and then restoring the blood. And it takes 3.5 hours to get all of the blood in your entire body out of you, cleansed, and then restored back. So it's quite a draining process.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful that, you know, he created a process whereby I could have a temporary solution to my problem. The fact of the matter is that God gave us all 2 kidneys.
Yeah.
That was pure genius, because most people can survive off 1 kidney, and that you have a spare kidney. It's like a spare tire. You have a spare kidney that you can donate to another person who is in need. Right. And so both of my kidneys failed, and so I'm looking for another person who would give me their spare kidney to have replaced the 2 kidneys that I have that have failed. And most people don't know kidney failure is the result of either sugar diabetes or high blood pressure. Mine was the result of high blood pressure that I had genetically from my father's side of the family. And so it was just a matter of time before my kidney failed. And so I've been on dialysis now for 6 years, and I'm just aggressively looking for a donor who can give me the gift of life to have a chance to live again. I've had to retire temporarily because I couldn't work with going to dialysis 3 times a week. Yeah. Hopefully with the transplant, I'll be able to go back to work, and I still got a few good years left in me. And
you got more than a few good years. You got quite a few good years.
Yes. Just pray about it. What I would ask you to do is pray about it, think about it, and consider donating. And you just call the Kidney Solutions phone number. Just call that number. They will answer any questions you possibly have and give you an objective third perspective on answering any questions. And the gentleman who answers that phone is a registered nurse. His name is Kent Bressler. He's a registered nurse. And he is a kidney recipient himself.
Yes.
He's been dedicated to Kidney Solutions and doing all that he can. It's a national nonprofit organization that does all they can to help others who are similarly situated, who are in need of a transplant and who are on dialysis.
One of the things he said, Vicki, when he was on the show, was that a lot of times he dispelled so many different myths, and Ron was speaking of a couple of them with, people are afraid, that they can't survive off of 1 kidney. The other thing is they think that somehow if they gave a kidney, they're gonna, they can't have children anymore. They can't, it's a lot of things. Yeah, people just for a lack of knowledge. So he was able to come on to the show.
What does a kidney have to do with having children?
Yeah, but it's just like, how, people just they become fearful, but sometimes just being informed can help someone who wants to do it to dispel, those kinds of things. So again, I just want to say thank you, Vicki, for coming on today. Ron, thank you for entrusting me to help you with this endeavor. And I just truly believe, do want to thank everybody that has been on the show. Jay was on the show. Talk a little bit about Jay before we leave, Ron.
Well, Jay is a recipient of a kidney himself about 4 years ago, and Jay's written a book about his experience, and he's got a tremendous book. I've read it. He's a great guy. Jay sponsors a speakers bureau himself from Philadelphia, and he's just a great friend. He's been a mentor to me, and he's such a great friend to know and to have. And I've got two great friends. In addition to you all, I've got Kent Bressler and Jay Gittleson, both from different parts of the country. Kent's in Dallas, and Jay is in Philadelphia, outside of Philadelphia. And they've both been so supportive and so encouraging to me in this journey.
And you got to remember to call Norman Hutchins too, because I think that would be great. His story
I've
is
made
so
a note.
encouraging.
I have to thank you, Vicki, for coming on. I have to tell you, humility, so much respect and admiration for Vicki. I mean, I've known her for 25 years. It's been the out lady in the gospel music industry. She has had, so she not only discovered Kirk Franklin, but she discovered Kurt Carr, and she discovered my good friend Byron Cage.
Yes. And have you seen Trinity 5-7 Chanel? Have you seen Chanel from Trinity 5-7?
Not lately. What's going on with Chanel?
She is on tour with the Rolling Stones.
And I saw. Wait a minute. Yes, I did.
As Tina Turner, and she was also in the.
My God.
She was Tina Turner. Tina Turner picked her in London, and now she's on tour with the Rolling Stones. You know, for the late Tina Turner. Yeah, Mick Jagger picked her.
Mick Jagger picked her.
Mick Jagger picked her,
honey.
Yes. Another one from GMWA's very own. We got them started there. That's right.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Billy Preston, Rodina Preston's brother, who started with the Beatles back in
That's right. Yellow Submarine and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. We have great heritage. We have a great tradition. Absolutely. I just want to do everything I possibly can to further it, to continue it, to help support it in every way that we can, such as you have done with your tremendous gospel career and industry.
Thank you. I tried to do my part anyway.
You did. And you know, just for those, since we're giving out fun facts, Vicki was responsible for many years. I don't know how many years of being the sponsor for the Pre-Stellar Awards. Vicki, can you just share a little bit about that?
Well, you know, when we gospel and gospel organizations did so much for us, because I was on the, I hate to say it, but on the white side, the white Christian side, there was no support. And I had no way of breaking the records, even though I had worked for all of those companies, Sparrow, Light, etc. But, you know, Sparrow finally did give me a distribution deal, but with no funds. So I went to these companies like Stellars and just talked to them and told them I didn't have a lot of funds. They said, that's all right, come on. And so when we did start making money, I felt it was our great responsibility to put dollars back in and sponsor different events. So we were huge sponsors. We would spend $60,000, sometimes $80,000 at a particular conference, because I felt we just had to do that. And so that's what we did at the time. And I have a new project that's going to come out pretty soon, and hopefully we'll be able to do some sponsoring again.
Vicki, Mack, let me just say, if y'all didn't catch this, I only mentioned one event. She went ahead and just dropped that knowledge that it wasn't just the Pre-Stellar Awards. She was doing this thing in other places, and I didn't realize that. But I can tell you that her contribution to gospel music will never be forgotten. Just want to say, just in closing, that Vicki Mack, I used to sit next to her when we would. That was one of the things about GMWA that really was priceless. You could sit next to people who were literally the powerhouses in the industry, and
that's right.
And Vicki Mack was one of those people that first of all, when she spoke on a topic, everybody was just taking out their pens and papers and writing. She was talking about stuff that really we weren't getting that information in the way that we needed to. So when Vicki would come, she would drop all of the industry knowledge outside of our culture that we needed to be paying attention to, like, all how you get paid, everything during that time that really, if you didn't know this stuff, you as an artist, you just wouldn't be able to make a real living. And she would come and I would sit next to her, and she always treated me just like I was rolling like she was and I wasn't. But she would just always just make me feel so welcome, a part of the conversation. I will never forget her for that.
Oh, I do want to give a shout out to the two men that were so important in my life in terms of gospel, and that's Gentry McQuarrie and James Ballard, who were the only executives at that time and took me under their wings, with, of course, the late, great Reverend Cleveland, Ed Smith, and Al Hobbs. Yes. And so I was loved on by a lot of Black men who did nothing but support me, as well as my father, who just passed this last May. He was always there and supported. And so, like I said, I know people got all this stuff to say about Black men, but me and my life has made the difference. And of course, Ron as well, as one of those who's been such a positive seed to make, to be a friend and to make me know I can do things and to make me feel important. So you want to get back to that. So I want to encourage you. That's another reason we need to give and do what we can for Ron. When there are Black men out there like this who are willing to share of themselves, this man's a great attorney. He didn't have to do the things he did with me either. We need a man like this out there. So I want to encourage you one last time to please take a test and see what you can do to support.
Yes. Thank you so much. Ron, I'll leave you with the last words.
I just want to thank God for both of you, for all the tremendous work you're doing. As I said, I've known Vicki for 25 years, a shining light in our community. She raises gospel music to a highest level. She is excellence personified. And to be her friend, and she to be my friend, and we'll always be friends. And I think the world of her, and I think the world of you, Humility. Thank you so much for creating this platform for me to be able to get this national campaign out for a kidney donor all over the country. GMWA is helping us to recruit and to let people know all across this nation looking for a kidney donor. And I'm just grateful. I'm thankful to God for having such tremendous friends in my life who would think it not robbery to support me in the effort. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And thank you, Vicki, Mack, for being here. Thank you, Ron. And we're going to leave it there for now. And I'm definitely going to, as soon as we get off this podcast, we're going to go right to find out how we can get Norman Hutchins onto the show. Vicki, Mack, Ron, thank you so much. I love you guys.
Thank you.